The moon landing conspiracy theory is one of the most well-known and enduring conspiracy theories in modern history. It posits that the Apollo moon landings were staged by NASA and did not actually occur. Despite overwhelming evidence and testimonies confirming the authenticity of the moon landings, some conspiracy theorists believe they were elaborate hoaxes. Here's an in-depth look at the various aspects of this theory. The moon landing conspiracy theory gained traction in the 1970s, particularly after the release of a book titled, "We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 Billion Swindle," by Bill Kaysing in 1974. Kaysing, a former technical writer for a rocket manufacturing company, claimed that NASA lacked the technical capability to send humans to the moon and safely return them to Earth. His book presented what he argued were inconsistencies and anomalies in the official account of the moon landings. Key claims and arguments. Conspiracy theorists have put forward various claims to support their belief that the moon landings were faked. Some of the most common arguments include the flag waving. Conspiracy theorists point to footage of the American flag appearing to wave on the moon's surface, despite the lack of atmosphere. In reality, the flag was designed with a horizontal rod to keep it extended, and the movement was due to the astronauts' manipulation of the flagpole. No stars in the photos. Photos from the moon missions do not show stars in the background. This is easily explained by the settings of the cameras used by the astronauts. The exposure time was set for the brightly lit lunar surface and astronaut suits, not the comparatively dim stars. Shadows and lighting. Critics argue that the shadows in moon landing photos are inconsistent, suggesting multiple light sources and therefore a studio setup. However, the irregular surface of the moon and the use of wide-angle lenses can create complex shadow patterns that might seem unusual but are entirely plausible given the conditions. The Van Allen radiation belts. Some theorists claim that astronauts would have been harmed or killed by the intense radiation of the Van Allen belt surrounding Earth. However, the trajectories of the Apollo missions were designed to minimize exposure, and the spacecraft provided adequate shielding. Lack of impact crater. Another claim is that the lunar module should have created a significant crater upon landing. However, the moon's surface is solid rock beneath a thin layer of dust, and the low thrust of the module's descent engine did not have enough force to create a noticeable crater. Identical backgrounds. Conspiracy theorists assert that photos from different Apollo missions show identical backgrounds, implying they were taken on a set. In reality, the moon's terrain is vast and repetitive, and mountains or hills far in the distance would look similar from various angles. Counterarguments and evidence. The moon landing conspiracy theories have been thoroughly debunked by numerous experts and enthusiasts. Key pieces of evidence supporting the authenticity of the moon landings include rock samples. Apollo missions brought back 382 kilograms, 842 pounds, of lunar rock and soil samples, which have been studied and confirmed by scientists worldwide to be of lunar origin. These samples contain unique isotopic compositions and mineral structures not found on Earth. Independent tracking. During the Apollo missions, independent tracking stations, including those in Australia and Spain, monitored the spacecraft. These stations were not under NASA's control and provided corroborative evidence of the missions. Moon reflectors. Astronauts placed retroreflectors on the moon's surface, which are still in use today. Scientists use these devices to bounce laser beams off the moon to measure the distance between Earth and the moon precisely. High-resolution images. Modern lunar missions, such as those by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and China's Chang'e program, have captured high-resolution images of the Apollo landing sites, showing the lunar modules, rover tracks, and astronaut footprints. Testimonies and documentation. Thousands of people were involved in the Apollo program, including astronauts, engineers, and contractors. The sheer scale of the operation and the consistency of the documentation and testimonies make it highly improbable that such a vast conspiracy could be maintained without someone exposing it. Psychological and sociological factors. The persistence of moon landing conspiracy theories can be attributed to several psychological and sociological factors. Skepticism of authority. Conspiracy theories often appeal to individuals who are skeptical of governmental and authoritative institutions. The idea that powerful organizations might deceive the public resonates with those who distrust official narratives. Complexity of science. The technical details of space travel and lunar missions can be complex and difficult to understand for the general public. This complexity can create a gap in understanding that conspiracy theories exploit. Conclusion. Despite the persistent claims of conspiracy theorists, the evidence supporting the reality of the Apollo moon landings is overwhelming. Scientific analysis, independent verification, and the sheer scale of the Apollo program all point to the authenticity of the missions. Understanding the psychological and sociological reasons behind the belief in moon landing conspiracies can help us appreciate why such theories persist and emphasize the importance of critical thinking and scientific literacy.